Bright suns, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars with Maggie Lovett. It has been a little while since I got to sit in front of this camera in my little studio and talk to you about Star Wars. A lot has happened since the last time I was with you all. Hopefully you all got to listen to my interview with the creatives of Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, which is so good. Please go watch this. As you all know, I was never the biggest believer of Lego movies, was never my thing, but Lego Terrifying Tales is just so much fun, and I had such a blast watching it, and I hope you all enjoyed listening to my interview, which I had to put up instead of doing a video because I was so busy packing for my trip to New York. And y'all, I met Hayden Christensen. It happened. I had him sign my Revenge of the Sith little guidebook. That happened, and I got a picture with him, which maybe I'll put the actual picture right here so you can see it a little bit better, or maybe I'll make it the whole screen. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll leave that to post. But yeah, I stood next to Hayden Christensen. And I know the whole barrier thing sucks and all, but it wasn't that bad. And yeah, totally worth the entire experience. So much fun. And it was also so much fun to go and see so many of my Star Wars friends. Maybe some of you are watching this, but I had such a blast seeing so many of my friends that I have really enjoyed talking to over the last year and a half with, the whole pandemic really turned all of us to Twitter and making a lot of really, really great friendships on social media. And it was just so great to be in a room with all of them hanging out and talking about Star Wars. It was great. Very much having that post-con depression, really missed the experience. But yeah, I met Hayden Christensen. That was a thing that happened. It was so much fun. And I feel yeah, this is going to be one of my top 10 memories. I'm going to put my picture up next to John Boyega. Yeah, it was just so much fun. I still can't believe it happened. But yeah, so this is a new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars. I actually don't have a lot to talk about because we're kind of in this weird period in between things. I currently have an arc for the new Thrawn book that I need to start reading. I finally finished reading Ronin, and you can read my review for Ronin over on Your Money Geek. Really enjoyed it. It was such a very different Star Wars than what we have previously gotten in book form or even on screen form. Very different. Very much leaning into the sci-fi elements that I think has kind of always been missing from Star Wars, but also very heavy influence from Japanese culture, which of course Star Wars has always appropriated it, and this felt much more authentic, and elements of it felt more like Star Wars than Star Wars, which is kind of cool. But definitely don't miss out on picking up Star Wars Visions Ronin. I really hope that this opens the door for having more stories to continue some of those Star Wars Visions stories, particularly Lop and Osha. That's the one I want to see more of, and Village Bride. And yeah, there's a lot of those Visions shorts that I would love to read backstory or continuations of. So I'm hoping that this is kind of the opportunity that we get to have more of them. And also it's kind of fun to have non-canon Star Wars books that could be canon. You never know. These things could end up being parts of ancient history or legends or stories and fables that are told about different situations. Who knows? I like canon in terms of knowing where things fit within the universe as we experience it, but I also love in-universe exploration and stories and lore and myths. Sort of the Life Day Treasury very much had that feeling of these are the in-universe stories that are told during the holiday season. So I'm excited to see what happens from there. But speaking of books, don't think I haven't been looking for fun used books from all of my usual spots. I think this one I found just before I left for New York. This is perhaps my greatest steal yet. It is the Star Wars Old Republic book. It literally sells for so much online, and I got it for so cheap. But it's a really great really great condition. Seriously feels like it's only been opened like one time, and maybe somebody wrote on the back of it like one time. Super good condition, just an absolute gorgeous book. So excited about this. Also very hyped about it because I feel like there's been a lot of new, like renewed interest in the Old Republic. And so it brought me so much joy when I saw this on the bookshelf. And it wasn't even at one of my usual like spots for finding stuff. This specific spot that I found this at, I usually find toys at. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I have to get it. And I like snatched it off the shelf and like clutched it to my chest. Like I'm so excited. But I also have found some other cool things at my regular used bookstore location. I found this gorgeous gem that originated from the Smithsonian gift shop, which as a museum nerd brought me great joy. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's the Star Wars from concept to screen to collectible. And it just has some really gorgeous like pictures of, I can't really see it because of the light, but lots of pictures of like toys and offbeat collectibles, like these really great Luke and Leia toys. And there's some really fun stuff too. Like, I can't remember what page it's on, but like absolutely terrifying Chewbacca like house shoes that would like invoke nightmares without question. But I actually got this for only a couple of bucks. A great find. So happy to add it to my Star Wars collection. And then I also like, I will always miss the expanded universe. This is very much an expanded universe loving Star Wars channel. I grew up on the expanded universe. I will always be slightly bitter that we will never get to see the expanded universe on screen. There's still a part of me that hopes that there is a future where maybe we get like an what if alternate universe style series, and we get to see Jaina and Jason and Ben and Anakin and all of the kids on screen again. That would also mean that I could live in a world where Cade Skywalker would potentially exist in the future. I don't know. I have plans. So Lucasfilm, if you ever want to just like call me up and be like, Maggie, we hear you have like what if plans. Expanded universe is all right up here. You don't even have to do Mara Jade. You know, I just want the Solo kids back. Like I miss the Solo kids so much. Anyways, I came across these books that will definitely awaken something within everyone who grew up reading the expanded universe. This is the Young Jedi Knights. It is not the full collection. It is only 5 of the books, but I saw them and they're only like $1.50. 4 of them actually, not the whole collection. It was only 4 of them, not 5 of them. That was my mother's book that she got. But I got 4 of them and I'm so happy about it. And also like the really cool like first edition ones that had the foil covers. So they're all like cool and shiny. There you go. I'm so excited about these. I remember reading these as a kid. I believe I got these out at the library and I didn't actually end up owning these myself. But so excited to add to my collection, and I'm hoping that I find the others maybe the next time I go to the used bookstore, or I'll find them somewhere else along the way. But I just love these books so much. And it brought me so much joy to just like see them, because like I know I used to have this picture of Jaina and Jason, which I think was on another cover as well. But I know that I used to like do broody pictures of me, like pretending to be Jaina, because you know. And this one too. Yeah, I was like such a nerd. Like I was convinced as a kid that Star Wars was eventually going to one day cast me as Jaina Solo. I don't have a twin, but I was like, that's not my problem. They can find somebody who looks like me. I'm obviously more important. Delusions of grandeur. But I really just so much enjoy collecting books. I have a few New Jedi Order books that these will be kind of joining. I was trying to see which ones I had, but they'll be joining the ranks of those books. It just brings me so much joy to find things that evoke so many fond memories from my childhood. And this came across some pictures today from a family reunion type event where like me and my cousins were pretending to have lightsabers, and I had like completely forgotten about them. And the pictures are terrible, so I'm never going to share them because like they're super dark. They're like disposable cameras, terrible quality, no lighting inside of this like event space that we were using. But like it brought back so many memories of just like how important Star Wars has been to me like my entire life. And I don't know, it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan because we have so much new content coming out. We have so many new series. You know, we have The Mandalorian is in production. We've got the Book of Boba Fett trailer probably coming out on Disney Plus Day. And we've got Kenobi and Andor, and we just have so much stuff, which kind of brings me to this other thing that is like, I feel like this is just me like airing my grievances, but like I have been so frustrated this week by Star Wars Twitter in particular, because it's, for some reason, that's the thing that everybody seems to be latching onto. So you may or may not be aware of, if you follow me on Twitter, you're very aware of this, but you may or may not be aware of that IATSE, which is like the majority of the crew members on sets, we're gearing up to potentially strike tomorrow. The strike has been averted for the time being. Membership has not actually voted on the deal. And I'm seeing a lot of pushback from membership saying to vote no on the deal. So there is still the potential that a strike will happen in a few weeks if membership votes no on the deal. Everyone hasn't seen the full contract. They've only seen a few bullet points. But where it currently stands, it doesn't really change much. It makes a few improvements with pension and promises pay increases after a certain period of time. But the production like protections that people were looking for, which was better turnarounds, as it currently stands, there are a lot of crew members that have very short windows of turnarounds. So they will be on set for 14 hours. They will most likely have a ton of meal penalties, meaning that they do not get fed within that 6 to 8 kind of hour window from when they first sign in. And then they're going home, they're getting like 1 or 2 hours of sleep, and they're being made to come back and start work again on another 14-hour day. And this week I've seen a lot of people being like, I don't care about the crew. I just want my Star Wars. And yeah, if you have that mindset, I don't need you to subscribe to this account. I will always value the livelihood and safety of crew over the content that they create, especially shows on streaming services like Disney Plus is where the root of all of these issues lay, because when streaming became a thing, this was mostly caused by Netflix and at the time Hulu. They were like, oh, this is like a brave new world. Like, we're not certain if TV shows and movies that we make for these things are going to do well. So let's cut a new deal. And this is going to be called a new media deal. And this is going to pay people less and offer a lot of less protections than previous TV contracts offered crew and also actors. And the streaming services who have millions and billions of dollars were like, oh, poor us. Like, we just don't know if these things are going to do well. And obviously these things do well. It has been years since the new media contract was proposed. And many of these streaming services have made buku bucks on these productions. And they've also won tons of awards. And nothing has really changed for the people who make it happen. And it's really frustrating to see people who value entertainment over the livelihoods of the people who actually make these programs. And I just really would like to implore for all of you to reconsider your relationship with streaming services and to reconsider your relationship with the entertainment that you consume, because on the other side of that screen is someone who most likely has only gotten like 10 hours of sleep in the last 2 weeks. Who are working in extremely unsafe conditions, because even if a set is extremely safe, if you're running on very limited sleep and you are operating high voltage equipment, if you're working with heavy machinery, you are not working at the best of your ability, and you run the risk of not only hurting yourself, but somebody else. And also you get into a car and you drive home at the end of the night. And there are so many people who have horrible car accidents because they are not getting enough sleep because of working on your favorite television show. So just continue to support people and listen. There's a lot of people who are only consumers, that they are not actually part of the entertainment industry, and they seem to not want to listen because it does create uncomfortable truths. And it just is very frustrating to see people who are like, oh no, The Mandalorian might get delayed. Oh, post-production's not going to be like involved in this. Yeah, like who do you think is working in post-production? Crew members. Like, there are set PAs still in post-production. There is still crafty. There is still teamsters. There are still all of these people who are still working on that back end of things. Video effects, everybody. And this doesn't just affect the people who are currently striking. There are currently people who are not part of the IATSE strike or the potential strike that are still being affected by very unsafe working conditions. And I just wish people would like take a second and just listen to the stories. Like go follow the it's the IA stories on Instagram. It is a ton of IATSE members who are talking about their horrifying stories and experiences from set. And this is what's happening to make your favorite television show. No set is immune to these issues. There are always going to be labor exploitation in the film industry, and we can make it better. We can listen to people, we can advocate, we can do better. So that's kind of my, like, sorry, it's a high horse, it's a soapbox, it's whatever you want to say. It's just been really frustrating as somebody who has worked on film sets for a number of years. My first set that I ever worked on was in 2009, so I'm not exactly a spring chicken. I've also been very ingrained in a lot of filming communities, not only here in the United States, but also up in Vancouver. And I've heard some things and I've seen some things, and I know that we can do better, not just as consumers, but as people who are on set. So that's just felt like saying that. It's been really frustrating, very much blood pressure raising. And remember, there are a lot of people in the Star Wars community and a lot of people who make Star Wars that follow you and they see what you're saying, and it's not good. So value the people over the product, always, in everything, not just in the film industry, because people are more important than anything that you can ever consume. Simple facts. But really, that's all that I have to say right now. I really need to read my Thrawn book. I am so behind in my reading. That little week in New York definitely threw me off. But I'm getting there. I think I'm all caught up with the War of the Bounty Hunters that just ended. Cannot wait for Crimson Reign. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I met Charles Soule at New York Comic Con. So awesome. Really enjoyed having him sign my Light of Jedi book. Cannot wait to see what he does with Crimson Reign and how he's going to hurt us with the next wave of the High Republic, particularly with that Martian Row comic book. Very excited for that. But we just have so much new Star Wars on the horizon, and it's such a good time to be a Star Wars fan. Also, I'm going to be covering some Star Trek stuff here soon. I won't be talking about it obviously here on the channel, but like if you like Star Trek's doing some things right now, and it's very cool. So cool. But until next week, as always, may the Force be with you. Go read some unbiased reporting about the IATSE contract and the movement for members to vote no. Deadline and Variety are fine, but they do definitely seem to have a very clear slant towards the producers, which isn't always great. And there really does not seem to be any trades that are solely unbiased in that department. So just read between the lines, go follow IATSE stories, because you will see a lot there that you're not going to see reported in the trades. And if you are a member of the film industry, there's a really great Facebook group called Crew Stories, which talks about some really important things that are kind of happening right now throughout the community, but you do need to be part of the film industry to be in that group. Don't just be a weird observer. A lot of things that are private, as much as Facebook can be private, are shared in that group, and they should definitely stay in that group. But seriously, just keep an ear to the ground, see what's going on, and try to be supportive where you can. But until next week, I will see you all then.